Hi, this is Steve Boone, bass player of the Class of 2000, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee, The Lovin' Spoonful, and you're listening to 21st Century Radio with Dr. Bob.
Before we go any further, I'd like to say, man, y'all really had a lot of patience. 3 days' work. You proved to the world what can happen. A little bit of love and understanding in sounds.
Hey! I'm sorry, guys. I'm so excited by this thing. Jess Rassp is our next guest on this part 2 of our salute to 50 years of peace and love during starting at Woodstock. Jess is a talented young artist based in Baltimore who joined us on the Light Brigade team, who helped me recreate an exact replica of the so-called Woodstock bus. Originally from Los Angeles, Jess Rassp is a theater artist and self-taught puppet maker with a background in sculpture and painting. Jess transforms simple materials such as hoops, chicken wire, gauze, and coffee filters into creatures that visually capture natural forms and movements. In addition to intensive studies in theater and the fine arts, she received a BA in English literature from Brandeis University. Jess focuses on cultural exchange through art and is currently artistic director and scenic charge of Cohesion Theater Company in Baltimore. Welcome to 21st Century Radio, Jess Rassp.
Hi, Dr. Bob. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. I'm glad you had time. You're a very busy person. Our time is limited tonight, but I'd like to start with a little more about your background and training. Did you always know you wanted to be an artist?
I think so, yes. My mom is also an artist, and so from a very early age, I learned the importance of art and capturing natural forms. And my mom put a paintbrush in my hand the moment she could, and so the creative aspects were always encouraged.
Well, how fortunate for you to have the karma to have a mom that really is into the same kind of things you wanted to do. That's good karma.
Yeah, definitely.
With a bachelor's in English literature, where did you learn to paint so well?
I was also a fine arts major for most of college, and I actually decided to not finish my degree. I went to a professor and said, I have to choose between working professionally in theater and finishing my art degree. And he said, you don't need a degree in art to be an artist. And that was exactly what I needed to hear. And I went onward to pursue theater as my main passion and took my studies of fine arts into the theater realm.
Well, tell us about your fascination with puppet making. What drew you into this specific field of theater arts, and why does it appeal to you so much?
I love puppetry because you have the unique opportunity to bring an inanimate object to life. And it's that moment of injecting life into an object that is truly magical, and I love capturing that moment. And I, as a puppeteer, it's my goal to be a visible invisible behind my puppets. And when I disappear and you just see this alive creature in front of you, that's the moment of magic that I'm always looking for.
I remember when you brought a couple of I would call them creatures.
Yeah.
And they looked so real, they moved. They seemed to me to be alive. That's fantastic. Mm-hmm. We knew they weren't alive, but it just seemed that way. That's the way you created, obviously. Listeners, you want to visit www.Jess, I got to get this right, Jess, I better spell it, JessRassp design.com, JessRasspDesign.com, to see samples of her beautiful work. Now we are turning to the light bus, Jess. You prepared a brief artist mission statement for why you applied for a position on the team to recreate the Woodstock bus. Do you remember what you said?
I don't know if I remember specifics, but I remember what excited me about the job posting in the first place was the aspect of learning something new and tapping into this new knowledge base in order to have a stronger understanding of intention behind painting the symbols and using the colors we were using. I felt uniquely qualified for the job, having experience as a mural artist and a scenic artist around Baltimore. And so I saw the job posting and thought, oh my gosh, this was made for me to be part of, and I was so lucky to have found your team.
Well, we were lucky to have you. When we did the first interviews to select the team, we carefully explained there would be homework involved. Now, we were not just hiring talented artists to reproduce a design. We needed inquiring minds interested in learning the meaning of the symbols that they were painting. Did that part of the job appeal to you, or was it daunting?
No, definitely. It appealed to me. I think that it's important for any artistic work to have strong research backing, and it makes the work so much more specific and meaningful. And so I knew that it was a worthwhile project because we were going to go so in-depth into the studies of the symbology and numerology and all of those different aspects that contributed to the work. And it was exciting for me to get to learn and take this knowledge onward to see what I could analyze in other pieces of artwork.
Has that helped you in any way?
Oh, definitely.
In other pieces of art?
Yeah. I think so. I think I see things that I didn't see before because of the training on the bus and being able to learn through the process of making the bus with everybody.
Well, training our team of artists in the deeper meanings of the symbols on the light bus was the most important aspect of the job to me. And it's why we could not have recreated this bus with just any average artist, no matter how good they were. We needed to make a magic bus with intention behind the brush strokes. Jess, I would like you to tell us which parts of the bus you feel the most connected to now.
I feel very connected to the roof. I helped to graph out the top of the roof and did a lot of the drawings for the roof. And one of the techniques that I used was attaching my pencil to the bottom of a bamboo stick so that I could have enough height over the bus to have a long line. And I use that technique in scenic painting all the time. If I'm painting a floor or something, having distance between what you're drawing helps you see the whole picture. And I think helped me create the long wavy lines on the roof of the bus. So I really, really enjoy that aspect. And I love the flowers on the back of it too, the color combinations of the red and the white and the yellow and the green and the purple, all coming together on the top back half of the bus. Those 10 flowers are really lovely.
That roof was really daunting as far as I was concerned. And that really was the most important thing to solve in the beginning. And my wife especially loved watching you guys dancing on the roof. Not on the roof, but on the board above the roof.
On the scaffolding above the roof. Yes.
And it was that... to do a roof on a bus is extremely difficult because you guys had to hang almost upside down at certain points, and that could really, to most people, I don't think they would want to do something like that.
I thought it was fun. There was some acrobatics into it and squeezing in between the tight places. I remember that was all part of the job description.
Yeah,
we were fine.
But I know, but other people might not have seen it that way. It's just the kind of attention that you paid with the other people who are working on it really made a hell of a lot of difference in elevating everybody's consciousness. Now, we set up a reference library in the barn studio where we did the painting, and this library had over 150 volumes of symbolism and esoteric history on it. Which of the books from that library do you most remember reading and finding some answers in?
Yeah, I remember I was drawn to a very thin, small book that had a blue cover, and it was just a small dictionary of symbols that I think put into very simple words, a brief maybe history of the symbol and all of these things that it encompasses. And so I thought, this is a nice little resource to start off with. And so I took it home with me and transcribed all of the symbols into my notebook. And I think that for me, the process of transcribing helps me really learn something. And so I thought, this is a really good foundation to then be able to apply this knowledge and see combinations of symbols, say, or I just thought it would be a good starting point to have that dictionary and create my own dictionary to reference back to.
Well, you certainly did that. It was fun, I think, also to see and watch the excitement that you guys had in putting all that information together. And I was so excited also about photographing you guys while you were doing it. And that has impressed so many other people when they see the papers that you guys put together. You did some lecture notes and gained some concise information that was from my main source. What was that? Was that Symbology 101?
Yeah. One of the first sources I found were your lecture notes for Symbology 101. And I thought, oh, here's a library that you've brought before us. He's read all these books. I should go straight for his notes on everything, and that's where I'll get to the heart of this knowledge of what he wants us to learn. And so that's what I did. I went right for your lecture notes and read through Symbology 101 and took notes on it and got the breadth of human history that you were talking about that I think is part of what the point of what you are trying to communicate. Is this long-lasting consciousness and collectivity that we as humans, not a specific kind of person, but any person, any human, and what it means to be human. And so I got that from your lecture notes, and I think it would have been hard for me to piece together that with just the books all separate. It gave everything a more direct meaning, I think.
You wouldn't be surprised to know that there was Symbology 102 and Symbology 103, would you?
Yeah, I couldn't find Symbology 102. I remember looking for it, and I found some of Symbology 103. But I also know that Lindsay took Symbology 103, and so we flip-flopped notes a few times.
Well, it's important for our listeners to realize that any symbol has a minimum of 7 different levels of meaning. And we were just focusing just on the basic one level of that particular meaning, but we also realized that there were other levels there. And that's one of the things that grow as you get involved in this. Now, you're really a really great student. I want to thank you for sharing the few pages of your notes with me. It proves how much intellectual work you and other artists had to do. And I especially remember your charts on the planetary symbols and the different styles of crosses and stars, and I'm sure you remember that. But when I show others this, then they understand that they could not necessarily have qualified to work on this kind of project, because I got a lot of flack from some artists who were really good artists and that kind of thing, but their egos were larger than Venezuela, and that would make it very difficult to work with them on that kind of thing. Now, we had a rather diverse team of artists on the Light Brigade. What did you learn from the other team members about how to approach a collaborative project?
I think that we struck a good balance of supporting one another and sharing colors, sharing space, jumping around the sections of the bus to help one another fill in, or if I know that I have a specific strength in some area, finishing edges, I go and clean up edges. But Lindsay has this very, very delicate sense of detail work, and so she has a lot of patience for going in and doing detailed sections. And then Roger was also similar in his meticulousness of the detailed sections. And I think that because we had different kinds of focus, we were able to float around the bus and support one another's skills and abilities, and create a collective whole team. It was very nice.
Well, also, you didn't just work on one part of the bus. The
right,
emphasis,
that's what I mean. Yeah, we floated around and helped one another in all different sections.
I like that word, floated.
Yeah.
It was kind of a dance, It really was a vertical, horizontal kind of a dance. And being moved around to different parts introduced all of the artists to different aspects of the main thing. So now, did you find your time spent on the Light Bus project transformational in any way?
Oh, sure. I think so. I think that I have learned a lot, and there's a lot that I've taken with me. And it's my personal philosophy as an artist that every new project builds upon your experience in a way that you could never expect, and that knowledge continues to grow and cultivate in your work. And I'm sure there are lessons I've taken from working on the Light Bus that I won't even realize until a few years from now. You know, I know that it's the type of thing that will grow and stick with me, and I will discover more and more as I pursue my career as an artist.
Well, I hope you'll be with us in Baltimore Monday, August 1st, or excuse me, August 12th.
August 12th,
yeah. At American Visionary Art Museum at 10 a.m. for the official launch party. We should have
I'm gonna try and make it.
Well, we should have 3 members from the Light Band who might be able to get together and perform some singing, and all the Light Brigade artists and their families and mechanics and sponsors will be there. And, you know, listeners, you will also be able to see Jess Rassp in the new film called The Woodstock Bus, premiering on the Curiosity Stream channel on August the 12th. Go to curiositystream.com and subscribe today so you won't miss it. I want to thank you for joining us on 21st Century Radio, Jess. And
thank you for having me, Dr. Bob. It's been nice speaking with you again.
Yes, I hope to work with you again. And the other projects are coming up right now. Everyone, come join us at AVAM Monday, August the 12th, 10 a.m. to launch the party. And we'll be right back.
We are